Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. With 8 days left in the election, we are discussing all things politics. So buckle up. We're all over social media, Facebook, Instagram, X, and of course our YouTube channel, The Stephen Knight Show. Please subscribe and comment and share. We appreciate your support. Also, make sure that you vote. Brittany's not here tonight, but she texted me. She voted last Tuesday, so make sure you vote. I think we all vote. We've all voted at this point. And also, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so definitely make sure you're doing what you have to do for your screenings and whatnot. All right, how y'all doing, family?
All right.
Hey, okay.
Chika, you have some announcement?
Not so much an announcement. It's an acknowledgement to you. Technically, I'm supposed to be in Philadelphia with the campaign, Barack and them folk,
Yeah.
Kamala and them folk. But I was told that doing this is more important than being there doing that because we have a platform and I'm able to get my message out there to the people. And my campaign leader, Bob Harrell, told me to tell you thank you for the great work and keep doing what you're doing.
What's his name?
Bob Harrell.
Appreciate you, Bob, and thank you for the work that you all are doing as well. I think it is important that we raise these issues, and I love it when I look on our social media and I see the conversations going on. A lot of arguing, but conversations going on. And there's this one guy who follows me on my personal page, and he was a strong Trump supporter, and now he's no longer voting for Trump. But he's not voting for anybody. But he's not voting for Trump. He said that apparently something Trump said at one of his rallies turned him off, and so. But I told him not voting is voting. Well, our question of the day is, so I was watching this video online. Shaq revealed why he doesn't consider texting or emotional affairs cheating. He says, it shouldn't matter what I'm doing in my phone. Do you agree or disagree, Linnea?
This is the same man that cheated on his wife.
Right.
So for that same man who cheated on his ex-wife, his ex-wife, to take that stance, just say you're not ready to be in a relationship. You should not be having certain conversations with the opposite sex, especially if you're saying, what's in my phone is none of your business. Me personally, it ain't nothing in my phone that my dude can't see or can't look at. You get what I'm saying? I'm not having inappropriate conversation, not in that manner. Now, what we pass on in these fields every day between me, you, TK, Tiffany, and everybody else, that's a different story with these
right.
each other. But other than that, I mean, I'm not. Yes, your phone is yours, but I'll snoop through my dude phone and he'll snoop through mine. But I know I ain't doing nothing.
Right.
So I think that if you're going in with that mindset, then you've already said to yourself, I'm gonna be doing something messed up, and you don't need to look at my phone.
Right. Yeah. Chicken, what are your thoughts?
So if you're in a relationship, sometimes your actions can affect the other person. And I think one of the things about being in a relationship is consideration of your partner. And if you can't consider your partner in all that you do, then maybe you shouldn't be in a relationship, because that's what relationships are about. You're not separate, you're together. So you're a reflection of your partner when they're not around, and vice versa. So if you're doing something,
I think it froze up. Well, I thought it was interesting that he said this because remember he did an interview or something a few years back where he apologized for the husband he was, and
you had froze.
Yeah, you froze, Chike. But you were saying that if you're doing something, that could hurt your partner or something, you were saying before you froze.
Being mindful of the
yeah,
other person's feelings.
if you're doing something that could affect your partner, then maybe you shouldn't do it, or something that you know that they would be, moved negatively by, you shouldn't do it.
Yeah. And I was saying I was shocked that he had this stance because a few years ago he had did this interview or something where he apologized, said he wasn't the husband he could have been, and how she was such a great wife, and he knew he made mistakes. And so it doesn't seem much has changed, in his stance.
That's why he's still single.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Well, tweet us home, let us know. Shaq revealed why he didn't consider texting and emotional affairs as cheating. He said, shouldn't matter what I'm doing in my phone. Do you agree or disagree? Text us, respond on X, Stephen Knight Show, SHO. All right, y'all. Can you believe it's 8 days until election day? I know we've all voted already, but over 47 million people have voted already, early voting. But in the final stretch of the 2024 presidential election, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are focused on two pivotal battlegrounds that could decide the race for the White House, Michigan and Georgia. Trump campaign scrambled to distance itself from backlash against racist, vulgar, and sexist comments made by a number of speakers at the former president's Sunday night rally at Madison Square Garden in New York. Harris and President Joe Biden both used their rally to contrast the Democratic campaign with Trump as polls continue to show a photo finish race. Now, Harris on Monday, was held a rally alongside running mate Governor Tim Walz in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Meanwhile, Trump held his own rally in Atlanta here with his running mate JD Vance, and will gather with voters in Wisconsin. All right, so Harris campaign turns Trump. I'm going to give you some of the highlights so we can kind of talk about them. Harris campaign turns Trump's comedian Puerto Rico insult into a TV ad. So the Harris campaign quickly seized on a highly ridiculed insult about Puerto Rico from a comedian during Trump's Madison Square Garden rally, turning the remark into a 30-second television ad. The new ad features a clip of the comedian Tony Hinchcliffe referring to Puerto Rico as floating island of garbage before Trump is heard saying Puerto Rico. I will never forget what Donald Trump did, Harris says, as the ad, as says in the ad as she critiques Trump's response to Hurricane Maria in 2017 while he was president. He abandoned the island and offered nothing more than paper towels and insults. Americans deserve better. Harris' campaign has highlighted the insult in its appeal to Puerto Rican voters, who represent a significant share of voters in the battleground state of Pennsylvania. They said there was about 1 million of them in all the battleground states together. But also that same day, she had released policies. She did the policies for Black Americans. She did one for Puerto Ricans, how she wants to help turn that area around. Again, Puerto Rico is American territory. They're American citizens. And, after these comments came out from that comedian, Bad Bunny, J-Lo, Ariana Grande, a lot of them, Ricky Martin, a lot of them showed their support for Kamala Harris. And I was watching the news earlier today. This woman, she said she was going to vote later on. She got up and went to go vote that next day because she said, I can't do this. And she was Puerto Rican. Linnea, if you saw anything from that rally, those comments, they made racist comments. They made a joke about watermelon, Black people watermelon. They talked about just nasty stuff about Latin in general. And then, of course, they made comments about Kamala and Black and women in general. What is the message? Because they said they know they're not going to win New York, right? But what is the message? What are they trying to achieve?
So, what was done at Madison Square Garden, of all places, was a Klan rally.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's call it what it was. It was a Klan rally. And at that same Klan rally, you had individual upon individual, mostly white men, but you had some sprinkled ins like
Byron
like
Nichols.
like that Byron
Nichols.
Davis,
Mm.
who before he came out, they played the song Dixie.
For the Confederate flag theme song.
The Confederate flag theme song was played before the black man came
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Um, and then then they play, I think, John Cena's song. I'm not sure, which they're probably going to get in trouble for. I'm not sure. I hope so.
Right.
It was a Klan rally in full display, and he talked about black people. He referenced black people. He referenced Puerto Ricans. He referenced the Palestinians. And everything was in poor taste. Um, but that's just on par with what we're seeing, which is now considered the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a shame because there are so many people who are just stuck on stupid relating to this situation for whatever reason. Like at this point, at all, it's not my job to convince you
Right.
on who to vote for.
Yeah.
That's not my job. I know I casted my vote. I know who I voted for.
Yep.
Um, who you vote for is completely on you and what you do. But I know if you were at that Klan rally last night, and Jay and I had this conversation. Realistically speaking, and sometimes we don't know. We know what we know,
Mhm.
but sometimes we don't know people if they really vote for that side or not
Right.
until it comes out.
Yep.
And I said, if I found out that somebody I knew was a part of that, they would be somebody I no longer know.
Yeah.
Because that means you support all of the foolishness and racism and every ism that goes along with it. And there's no having a conversation with you.
Mm-mm.
And I'm cool. And I hope that KKK rally was worth it for them because they keep showing y'all who they are. They putting it all out there.
Yep.
They're showing you. They're
Mhm.
telling you,
Yep.
and people are just like, oh,
Yeah. Yep. And they were saying, Chike, that the comedians joke about Puerto Ricans and it didn't speak. I mean, the Trump campaign distanced itself from it, saying that it doesn't speak to how Trump thinks about it. But it really does, because he came down the escalator talking about Mexicans are rapists. He did at the Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico throw paper towels at the people. And he didn't give them all the money that they deserved because he didn't think they were worth it. It just came out, someone who wrote a tell-all book, that when that soldier, she was killed, female soldier was killed, and the funeral cost $60,000. She said it's not worth paying $60,000 for a Mexican. I mean, he's shown you who he is. But um, Chike, what's your take on this rally yesterday?
I'm in agreement with Linnea. It's rooted in evil. This ideology and the messaging, if you think back, especially if you're Black, I don't know how you could support this. But if you idolize that Anglo-Saxon hetero male ideology, you know, that's what you stand behind. This is the same ideology that killed Medgar, Malcolm, and Martin. And there's no way that I could get behind that. And I'm with Linnea. If I find out or if I can detect that you support this, then that means you support evil. Because
Yeah.
there's no way that you can continue to support this and it's about his policies. There are no policies.
Right.
His policy is hate.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is not a normal election, Democrat versus Republican. This is not what this is. And that's why you see so many Republicans backing Harris, because they want their party back. They want their
Mhm.
Republican Party back. And they know if he gets in office, what's his state? So they're backing her. Liz Cheney lost her job. Other Republicans lost their job, but they know for them, January 6th was too much. But Kerry Washington, she's been campaigning crazy. I've seen her do different rally events and things like that. Well, she teamed up with Mariah Carey for a video I saw today. Mariah Carey has a countdown to Christmas, and not yet. And so she started singing All I Want for Christmas Is You. And Carrie stopped her and said, no, 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 no. This is not your season yet. And they were talking about voting and whatnot. And it was good to see. Because a lot of times, I think big stars are sometimes scared to come out because of the backlash. But it's good to see, Beyonce campaigned on Friday in Houston with her. And now Mariah Carey's putting her voice around. Cher did. And it's crazy because every time we post these celebrities endorsing Kamala on our Instagram page, here come MAGA attacking them. Linnell, what's your thought about these endorsements by these big celebrities?
I mean, of course, it's great, right? But it still doesn't curb the anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
It still doesn't, the angst that's happening at this point, especially being so close, and especially with everything that's happening, where you have people who, I don't know if you guys heard about this young guy. He was stealing Harris Walk signs.
Yeah.
And they put an air tag on one of the signs that he took, and they found him at his house.
See?
And first he tried to lie about it, and they're like, there's an air tag on one. It brought us right to you. And he said he lying. Now his mama come out, she all going crazy. You're not reprimanding your son. Oh, you liberals, just go vote. And
See?
he's like, Mom, go to hell in the house. Like, and then all of a sudden now he's a lawyer. Oh, well, I looked on Etsy and they're only $3 a piece. No, honey, they're 20 a piece, and it's a felony what you
It
did.
is a felony.
When you mess with those political signs, it is a felony.
Sure is.
It's a felony. Or what's going on right now, where it's been 3 states of mailboxes being set on fire.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This has never happened.
Mm-mm.
And y'all don't even see, if they didn't care about your vote, why is it so important for them to start dismantling stuff and burning stuff and doing stuff?
Yep.
Excuse me.
Well, what you think about this, Chike? So Harris is sitting down with host Charlamagne the Guy for a second interview. Harris, she will sit down with him tomorrow. Or at least it will air tomorrow, Tuesday morning. I'm sorry, Tuesday morning for an interview a week out from elections. Yeah, so tomorrow at 7 a.m. on his radio show, The Breakfast Club. This marks her second interview in 2 weeks with the popular host. Earlier this month, he hosted an audio town hall with her in Detroit, where she faced wide-ranging questions about her candidacy in the 2024 race. One thing he did last week that I loved, he called out CNN for the way that they cover her versus the way they cover Trump. And, to Anderson Cooper's credit, he listened, but he called him out. He said that, I hear y'all have roundtables about her race, but y'all talk about when he wants to be when he's a fascist, or people are saying he's a fascist and this is the way he's acting. Y'all don't scrutinize him as much. It's like it's become normalized, his behavior. Chike, what's your thoughts on the interview and Charlamagne calling him out?
So, I'm not really a Charlamagne fan.
Mm-hmm.
However, he has a way of being ignorant enough and educated enough
Right.
that he gets the point across. So he's very effective.
Mm-hmm.
But today I heard Van Lathan say something about that whole Donald Trump situation that was dead on, laser sharp point.
Yep.
He is the ultimate representation of white privilege, and he gets away with it.
Yes.
And it gives everyone else a permission structure to be at their worst. And that has taken the climate of the country. Not that we were perfect, but it takes the climate from where it was and it takes it down like 20, probably even more.
Mm-hmm.
And people are just on basis, just horrible people. They're just being horrible, and it gives them a permission structure to be horrible. And the climate and the temperature of this country has changed because of it.
Yeah.
And the fact that Vice President Harris is not being held to the same standard.
No.
And they get upset when you point out, well, she's a woman of color. Oh, it's not because of that. Okay, it's because she's a woman. Oh, it's not because of that. Well, what is it because?
Right.
Is it because your dude is a douche? Or is it because you don't really like her? And you have to name out the things that you don't like.
Yeah.
But call it what it is.
Yep. Yep. And Linnea, Van Jones said that they're not taking the same exam. You know, she has to be have these policies, speak to the policies, can't get too mad, can't laugh too much, can't, you know, and he can just go out there and talk about Arnold Palmer's penis. And you know, whatever he talks about. What's the double standard?
We know what the double standard is. We know what the double standard is. Yep. She's a Black woman. Period. Mm-hmm. And just like PK said, you know, Van Lathan, him and Rachel had a good conversation, and that really laid it all out so simply and perfectly. Mm-hmm. Especially for the idiots in the back. Laid it out. And even with Charlemagne calling out CNN, and I'm happy somebody did.
Me too.
Anderson Cooper got his feel. He had to clutch his pearls. Charlemagne said, I'm not talking about you specifically. I'm talking about the network.
Yeah. Yep.
But Anderson was in his field. He was in his feeling so much he took off the next night, didn't he?
I think so.
He was in his feelings so much, but you and your
feelings. That went viral. That whole interview
went viral. But you know it's true. Why must we act like when somebody checks you, you all flabbergasted and hurt? But that's what it is. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. And this is it is absolutely, that man is the ultimate thing of the ultimate vision of white privilege. Let's call it what it is. That's what he can, everything that he does. And you have the backing of the evangelicals with you.
Yes. That's what he spoke with today.
You have broken everything in the Bible. Yeah. Everything. Multiplied. Everything. But guess what? Y'all support what y'all do.
Exactly.
That's what you support.
And on that whole journalistic front, let's remember back to Don Lemon working for CNN.
Yes.
And someone said some BS, and he had a slam on the brakes moment. He had to call them out immediately for the BS that they were spewing out. And the producers were in his ear trying to get him to like calm down. And he said, I cannot think with you in my ear, and snatched the earpiece out and went for it. Yep. He's no longer there because he bucked up against the powers that be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I was very disappointed yesterday. Dr. Phil, he spoke at that rally and at Madison Square Garden, talking about how America was built on, on hard work and on your own merit, not DEI, and not. Does he forget how he got on the map?
He was a DEI hire.
Thank you.
Because who? Let's talk about who got you.
Oprah Winfrey. Right.
And unfortunately,
and not just him. Let's go back to that Oz character too.
Yeah.
Yep. Who got you? Y'all were the DEI hires.
Thank you.
And y'all made money. Y'all made lots of
successful shows. I think
successful shows on being quacks because you ain't been licensed nowhere in a long time.
Exactly.
In a long time.
The true colors come out. Well, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back with more politics right back after this.